At this point, I'm sounding like a broken record. But yes, the Metro bus network in Washington, D.C. and the surrounding areas of Maryland and Virginia is being completely overhauled on June 29th, 2025. You can learn about the better bus system here. But since none of the current routes will exist anymore, I made it my goal to ride one weird bus route from each area, from the old network. 2 weeks ago, we looked at the weirdest bus in Washington, D.C., last week we went to Maryland, and today we're riding the weirdest bus in Virginia. A route that is definitely not traditional. The opposite, actually. Also, stay tuned till the end for some bonus content.
Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new Trains Are Awesome video. I'm Tom, and I'm standing at East Falls Church Metro Station in Arlington County, Virginia. I actually didn't take the metro over here. I biked all the way from Washington, D.C., which it was a nice ride. There were some really steep sections, and it is really hot outside, so that's why I'm all sweaty and gross. But I've got a good video for you guys today, so I hope you will forgive me. Today we are riding Metro bus back to Washington, D.C. I'll talk about buses in a sec, but first, East Falls Church is a really nice station to bike to. First of all, it's right by a trail, there's Capital Bike Share in front of the station, and there's also a really nice secured bicycle storage area. All you have to do is tap your Smart Trip, and you can park your bike in like a locked, secure space. Really nice. Anyways, about buses. Let's head over to the bus bays now. We've talked about commuter buses on the channel before. In general, it's a bus that leaves the suburbs in the morning to go into downtown, and then doesn't run all day until the afternoon when they go from downtown back into the suburbs. You know, really catering to the traditional commuter. Now, there are a few exceptions. Of course, the best type of suburban bus runs all day, every day. Think of the 201 in Maryland. The next best thing is a commuter bus that runs in both directions during rush hour. There are some Fairfax connector routes like the 699 that they only run during weekday rush hours, but they do run both directions. And then there's the silly old 3F. Now, the 3F runs between East Falls Church Metro Station and Franklin Square in Washington, D.C., and it only runs during weekday rush hours. But right now I'm in the suburbs at a Thursday afternoon around 5 p.m. and I'm getting on a 3F. So that means it runs in the reverse rush direction. But get this, it doesn't run in the rush hour direction. If you look at the schedule, we've got 2 more buses this afternoon, and then after that, no more bus service until Friday afternoon, so tomorrow. And then after that, no more 3F service from East Falls Church until Monday afternoon and Tuesday. So what is this crazy bus that it only runs during weekday rush hours, only from the suburbs into the city? Let's find out.
The fare for this bus is $2.25. The driver did not wait around. Before I had even sat down, we were already on our way to Washington, D.C. Ironically, while we will spend most of our time in Virginia, East Falls Church was the only stop in Virginia. We directly turn onto Interstate 66, also known as the Custis Memorial Parkway, and we won't leave the highway until we have crossed the Potomac River into D.C. It's not a super fast trip. Despite it being a toll road, traffic here can be pretty bad. I'd probably be quicker riding that train back to DC, but I gotta make content, you know? You can probably also tell it's just me on this bus. It'll be just me since I highly doubt that anyone will get on this in the city. According to the most recent ridership statistics, the 3F gets an average weekday ridership of 55 people, spread out between 4 morning trips and 3 afternoon trips. The morning trips leave from the city and travel to East Falls Church, while the afternoon trips like this one go from the suburbs into the city. Now, I've always firmly believed that transit should not only benefit the traditional 9-to-5 suburban commuter, and so an express bus that runs outside of rush hour is great. But one that only runs in the reverse rush with barely anyone on board? You have to admit that's really weird. Why even run it at all? Well, the 3F would not make any sense without its counterpart, the 3Y. The 3Y is your typical commuter-oriented bus. It starts and ends in the same places as the 3F, but rather than take the highway all the way, it only takes it for the short little hop across the river. For the rest of the journey through Virginia, it makes all local stops along Langston Boulevard. The 3Y runs 7 inbound trips in the morning and 6 outbound trips in the afternoon. The 3F is basically a repositioning move. It lets the 3Y that's finished its trip go back to its origin and then make another trip. If you look at the schedule, the 3Y that left DC at 4:15 arrived at East Falls Church at 4:52. It became the 4:57 3F, the bus we are on now. Once it reaches downtown, it's ready to pick up commuters again. Now you could just run this bus empty, out of service, but then you're still paying for fuel and labor costs. Open it up to passengers, and maybe you can make a little something off of it. 55 people times 225, do the math. Also, the 3Y's ridership is only 172 a day, so 55 people for the 3F is not that bad honestly, but both are still very low. And so when the Better Bus network is implemented in June, they'll both be gone, replaced by the slower but much more popular A58. The 18G and 18J Metro bus routes, also in Virginia, practically do the same thing as the 3F and the 3Y, where one of them is the Reverse Rush Express. Fun fact, the reason I first became interested in this bus is because I saw it driving around DC using Metroway buses. Metroway is a bus rapid transit route that runs between Arlington and Alexandria, exclusively in Virginia. I've covered it in a video before, and these blue buses theoretically should never be running in the district, but on multiple occasions I have seen them on the 3F and the 3Y. We are now crossing the Potomac River over the Theodore Roosevelt Bridge. Having entered the District of Columbia, something caught my eye, and we'll have to come back for that. Anyway, the driver asked me where I was going, and I explained that I was meeting somebody for dinner in Foggy Bottom. I was prepared to do some walking, but my limousine driver may or may not have dropped me off a little bit closer than the route would normally take me.
Thank you.
Anyways, a few days later, I came back to the Foggy Bottom neighborhood and walked down to the Kennedy Center. Beyond the building dedicated to the performing arts, the road zipper was hard at work on the Roosevelt Bridge, rearranging the lanes after morning rush hour. I had always wanted to see one of these machines in action. One of the most famous examples of a place that has a road zipper is the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Now, that's kind of far away. And knowing that there was one right here in the city where I live, I had to go check it out. Every weekday morning at 9:30 a.m., it travels from the Virginia side, picking up 1,000-pound concrete barriers that are connected to each other by metal hinges, that together form the median. It shifts these blocks over, and in doing so, it reduces the number of lanes on the inbound side and adds a lane to the outbound side, with plenty of time to spare before the afternoon rush hour later in the day. It's an ingenious invention that prevents head-on collisions and is easy and safe to navigate around as a driver. But there are less than 20 examples of them in the entire world. Anyway, all talk of the road zipper aside, this has been a video on the 3F. Virginia's weird bus route that basically turns an otherwise out-of-service route into a reverse rush express. If you live in the area, make sure you're prepared for the better bus switch on June 29th. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me in the comments, on Instagram, or by email. Thanks so much for watching today. We'll see you next time.